What is up, Graphics Nation? Happy Monday and welcome to a returning episode of GFX. What is up, guys? So I made an entire tutorial showing you guys how to make something similar to this, and unfortunately there was a mistake and I was not able to finish it and get it up on Friday. So now we're going to be continuing, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to recreate a very similar thing to this. Not exactly this, of course, but similar to this that you guys will be able to learn. And so basically this is a concept. I'm going to be teaching you guys concepts because if I show you guys how to make final products, the difference is I can show you guys how to make a final product and that'll satisfy you guys for one project, or I can teach you guys concepts and you can use those concepts in correlation with other concepts to produce many final products. So as going for concepts, this is a concept I'm going to be showing you guys, and it's so simple, guys. I mean, you guys don't understand how simple this is. So new document, let's invert it to black and bring up the lightness a little bit. Basically how you do that, to invert you hit Command or Control I, and then to bring up the hue and sat you just bring up Command or Control U. That will bring up your lightness and darkness. So going into it, basically first thing you want to do is make a new layer. Make sure your color palettes are set to the default. If they're not, you can just hit D on the keyboard and it will switch it back. And make sure it's black to white. Now let's go to view, or my bad, not view, filter, render, and then clouds, and then hit Command F a few times until you find some clouds that you really like. I kind of like that. Alright, so we're gonna go with that. Now I'm gonna hit 2 on the keyboard. Now that will bring the opacity down to 2, and then shift 2 again, and that'll bring the fill down to 2. Now depending on your project this will change, but for this kind of project, 2020 as I call it, and basically that just is simply the opacity over the fill. So 2020 opacity over fill. And so now what we're gonna do is we're going to go and grab our green color here and zoom out, and then we're going to get a sizable brush. Let's make this, I don't know, 1400. Just a sizable brush, and you just want to kind of brush over the bottom, not on your clouds layer though. You want to make a new layer and then do that. So here we go, boom, just like that. Simple, simple, simple. Alright, now what we want to do is go ahead and hit L on your keyboard, and it'll probably bring up your lasso tool, and so then you just want to hit Shift and L to bring up your polygon lasso tool. So now that you have your polygon lasso tool, you want to go and select in this left corner and kind of bring it down. And actually, before we do this, let's go ahead and go view, new guide, vertical 50%. What this is going to allow us to do is allow us to know when we are getting to our medium, because we're going to end up flipping it, have it mirror each other on the side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select, and I always hold shift when I do this so it keeps at a 45-degree angle, and that way it's a lot easier to keep it all balanced and keep it all looking nice. So now what we want to do is just create a new layer, fill it in with white, deselect, go ahead and set that to overlay, and maybe drop the opacity a little bit, maybe about 50 over 100, something like that. And then you want to grab your lasso tool again, make a new layer, then go about halfway through that, and then you want to fill this one with dark. So let's set that to black, and boom, overlay, drop the opacity a little bit, and then we want to continue this kind of pattern here. Maybe do a little bit of a sharper bright layer. Brush, white, boom, set to overlay, set to about 50. Yeah, it'll work. And now this one you want to go not connected to that one at all. So I'm going to go about here. Boom. And with the same thing, new layer, set to white, There we go. So that's overlay. And new layer. This one will be darker. Boom. Just like that. And set that to overlay. Drop the opacity a little bit. Alright, perfect. There we go. And so what we're going to do here is now we're going to select all these layers. We're going to group them, duplicate. Oh, my bad. You want to leave the first layer off. That's the green layer. You want to leave that off. Alright, now you want to duplicate, hit Command T, and then hit your Alt button. And that'll bring up your center button. I don't even know what this is called, and that's kind of bad, but I just know what it is. I don't know the technical terms. So you want to grab that and put that on your vertical line, right click, and hit flip horizontally, and that'll make it perfectly flipped. And you might have to adjust it a little bit, but you shouldn't. So there we go. There is our symmetrical thing. One thing we want to do here though is we want to hit make a new layer, grab your line tool, set it to about 3 pixels depending on your depending on the size of your document. Go ahead and switch it to the white, and then kind of just highlight the edge of it. Boom. So this right here will just highlight the edge, and it'll make that kind of stand out a little bit more. And there we go. So you can do this on the light layers. And see the kind of, just kind of cool effect it gives that. And you don't have to do it to every single one. And it'll just give some of them like a really cool little effect. Boom. And then you can do it to on this side. Let's only do it to like this one right here. Well, I guess it's kind of symmetrical, so we kind of gotta do it to all of them. So we'll just do it to all of them. Maybe you can do this part before you merge it and flip it over. Cool. There we go. So that kind of gives it another cool, it takes the effect another level. One more thing that makes the effect go another level is you can do like one of these half, like that, and then what you do is, boom. Drop it down. That's too low. Maybe about 500. You drop it down a little bit, and then you just kind of highlight here. You don't go all the way though, and then you set this to overlay. And so that right there will give it an added effect on top of that. And then you can also duplicate your clouds, bring them on top, and then set them to overlay themselves. And then that will kind of bring the clouds more into the effect that we have there. You can also change it up a little bit. So let's see. Let's go back to here. And we'll just add these little micro effects. Just on the side here. Boom. Set to overlay. Fade off the edges a little bit. And one thing with this technique is really, it'll be, the more detailed you want it is basically going to be up to you. And what I mean by that is, if you want it super detailed, you can make it super detailed. If you don't have to. And the effect will go as far as you take it. There's a good explanation for it. So if you want it to look really sick and really put in the time and the work, detailing every little part of it, then you can do that 100%. You can certainly just go through and really add in all the little details. If you want the look to be more plain and basic, then you can do that certainly as well, by going with more of this kind of effect. Which, I mean, this one has the whole triangle, which this right here, how I made that, I mean, it's really simple. I forgot about that. So you just kind of boom to the triangle, boom back up, boom, boom, and then you just kind of fill in here, right? And then you hit overlay, like that, and then you duplicate that and then move it up. And then this one you might, I don't know, you might reselect it a little bit and maybe throw in a green color there to kind of make the green more pop a little bit. Or you might do something in order to kind of enhance the whole color form factor of it. And then something along that lines, and then we did another one. Boom. Shaboom. 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 Alright, now we go ahead and grab our white and kind of fill that in like so. Set to overlay, and then we grab our line tools and then we kind of just space them out a little bit like that, and then we set these to overlay, and then we unvectorize them, and then we kind of fade the tops like that. But basically, you know, that's the whole idea behind the concept. That's where that came from. Is just, you know, the different triangle layers like that. And then the logo. This isn't like an actual logo for anything. I just grabbed my polygon lasso tool and I went above all the layers, made a new layer. And I was like, okay, boom, 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 like that. And I went and filled it in with, I believe, black. And then I made the, I forgot already how it looks. Then that, yeah. So then that's just another new layer on top of it that goes from like here. Oop, wrong thing. Like so. And then both of them are set to overlay. And drop the opacity a little bit, and then I think maybe these were inverted. Yeah, maybe they were inverted. Maybe they're brighter. And then I went through and saw where they connected or where they collided, and then I grabbed the eraser tool, made it a little bit smaller, and then just kind of brush that part out, and then reverse brush that part out. And so now obviously, you know, I spent a little bit more time in detail on that one, but I mean, you guys get the gist of it, and how it looks. So there you guys go. That's the basis behind the concept there. I'm sorry this video didn't go out on Friday. I feel really bad about it. But I was able to remake it today. I had a lot of fun on my college retreat. I went to Passion 2015. And if you guys have the opportunity to go, there's another event in Atlanta on the 16th. And then another event again in Houston. If you guys have a chance to go, it really is a life-changing experience. And I definitely recommend you guys go. So look it up. Look up Passion 2015 on the internet. And if you guys want, I have some discount codes. Not sponsored by them or anything. They handed them out at the end of the conference. And said, you know, if you need to bring people here, you know, we can give them $60 off. So if you guys want $60 off and you guys are really gonna go, definitely message me. Send me an email, william@freedom.tm, and I'll get back to you guys with a discount code. But definitely look up Passion 2015 on the internet and check out what that's about. Check out these two videos if you have not already. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is William, and you guys have yourselves a G freaking X day. See ya!